Since the Johannesburg Roads Agency and the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport ended their relationship to maintain road infrastructure. And under the previous agreement, the city was designing, installing and repairing traffic lights on behalf of the provincial government. If you are in Johannesburg, at least, you would have noticed that some traffic lights have been vandalized and the operation seems quite sophisticated. We speak now to Sipho Nhlapo, Johannesburg Roads Agency Acting HOD for Mobility. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's start with that, what the Johannesburg Roads Agency has observed when it comes to the vandalizing of traffic lights. How bad is the situation?
Okay, Judy, thank you very much, and to your viewers. First of all, the situation is dire. The situation is very bad. But let me explain how bad this situation is. We have two kinds of vandalism. It's a theft-based vandalism. Also, it's an accident-based vandalism. For an example, with an accident-based vandalism, we've tuned up in South Africa now earlier the festive mood. So people go out, they drink a bit more, and then later they drive and then they hit our traffic lights and then they damage our traffic lights. The impact is still the same. And then with the theft vandalism, this is an intent. You can see there's a plan. Somebody came with an angle grinder. Somebody has planned to steal. It's more theft-based. So these are the challenges that we're dealing with. You can see those that are accident-based and those that are theft-based.
When we speak of the theft-based ones, like you rightfully mentioned, it would appear they come with angle grinders and it looks quite sophisticated, because sometimes you'd hear it being said that it's Nhlapo boys who are vandalizing this and this, but the equipment that seems to be used here is quite sophisticated and does not suggest that somebody who's laying on the side of the road would actually be doing that. And
not at all.
Yeah, and so what is it that you are finding? What do investigations reveal? Yes. More so when we also talk about the cost. How much is this costing?
Yeah. Okay, let me make an example. First of all, if the Nhlapo boys are involved, they are very low in the chain of this crime. This is a very, very well orchestrated crime. You will understand that in the country today, there's still a moratorium on sale of copper, second-hand copper. Yet, they will still see people coming and cutting off traffic lights, stealing copper. Somebody at a very high level, it's buying that copper from. If it's the Nhlapo boys who goes out on the ground, but I don't think they have the energy. With that thing they smoke, I don't think they have the energy to go around with the angle grinder. It's people who show up in bakkies, in vans, who come. Remember, you must also bring the generator if the angle grinder is not powered by itself. So they carrying the generators on back of the vans. So this is a very planned thing. And you'll also see, when the cutting takes place, it's systematic. So it will be one lane of road. It's not something that happens sporadically. So there's no way that we can begin to limit this or degrade this to a level of a common thief. This is not at that level. This is at a level that somebody has an ability to export copper. So for you to be able to export copper, you need to be able to go through a lot of hoops and jumps so that you can be able to be granted the license to do that. And with the current moratorium on sale of copper, who's buying this copper? Who's storaging this copper? Where are they warehousing this copper? Don't limit this to a very common thief. It's not there. We are dealing with a sophisticated thing. I'll make an example. We've just upgraded an intersection about 2 weeks ago, Peace Street, next to Fontaine there. It was on the ground for hardly a week. Somebody has come there and then taken all the cable, taking this. That intersection alone, we had just spent about R1 million to improve on that intersection. Now, if I give you the numbers over a period of 12 months, we're dealing with about 15 million rands that we lose as a JRA in terms of the asset that gets stolen or cut off in that manner. Now, over the period of 3 years, because we get budgeted over the midterm, we are sitting here roughly around 45 to 50 million rands. This is the amount of money that could have been invested in progressing the city, in moving the city forward. Now, we need to spend this money going back where we had already done work. This is the impact of this. Now, what you see on the ground, you see a traffic pole that is out on the ground. It's the impact in terms of safety. Remember, now, when you are approaching that traffic light, you have to delay a bit because there's no traffic light allowing you to move. You are now a victim of a break-in where people can break into your car. You are now at risk as a normal citizen that is law-abiding in this country because somebody had just decided for their own stomach, it's very important that they should steal the asset. So that is the challenge you are dealing with. The number of people who are arriving at work late, it's impacting on the entire economy of the country. The study maybe hasn't been done yet. in terms of the impact of this, but it will account to millions and billions of rents that is lost on the road, people just trying to get to work or to their families in time. So that's how serious this problem is for us.
Perhaps, Mr. Nhlapo, that's a study that JRA can commission, but when it would appear from what we're hearing that there's more questions than answers also on your end. Are you concerned that it could be some of the service providers? Maybe help us understand how the ecosystem works, right? Who installs those traffic lights, the kind of machinery that you need. So are you concerned that some of your service providers could be installing the traffic lights by day and then taking them out by night?
Look, we haven't got any direct link to that if there's any situation like that. But we've seen with some of the theft of the controller unit, this is not cable now, the unit that controls the traffic light. Only a person that can steal that is probably managing a traffic light somewhere. So what we have done to try to build the safeguard of that, we have talked to all our suppliers to ID the asset that they leave with us, and then tell us to make sure that those assets are geo-fenced to our geography, so that it's only our people can work with that. So that if somebody were to steal that computer that controls the traffic light, it cannot be used anywhere else. There was a situation that we heard that some had seen these controllers. One of the companies that we work with said one of their controllers, somebody came to them asking them to reboot it, and then when they asked them where they have the contract to reboot this, they didn't say anything, they just left. They were taking a chance. So we may not know who had appointed that contractor or that person to do that, but at least that measure managed to safeguard what we have. In terms of cable, yes, it's possible. Contractors might be, I don't know, but if you look at how it is, because now it's bits and pieces, so a contractor may not be able to go and refit this cable in another point. Yes, maybe the contractor might have the employees that work for them that take that bits and pieces and go and sell them. We see that, but we cannot pinpoint at the moment and say it's a contractor. It seems to be a very well-organized thing that we're thinking it's beyond that. But if there's a market to sell, anybody probably who understands how the traffic lights work, they may know exactly what to take, when to take, and then what is safer to take during that. And we've seen this, we were talking about load shedding earlier. We've seen the increase of this during load shedding, which now has created almost another group of people who are not very, maybe professional in setup. These are the people that will be scared of touching a cable because they wouldn't have known that it's live or not before. But now, because of load shedding, they know for sure that there's no power there. So you can see even with the level of digging and level of trying to put out, they take the scraps out. They take quite little out. But I think what we need to talk about is, yes.
I do beg your pardon because we're really out of time at the tail end of the show. Just very quickly for us, are you working with the police? Have you roped them in? Is there an investigation?
Yes, we're working with the police. We hand them over when our guys find people. When they found something, they call us in to identify and verify some of these assets. And also we're doing certain elements on the ground to try to discourage the theft, but we can't reveal much, obviously. It's for us to see whether it's helping us in the long run. But yeah, there's a big progress working with the police here. We just had a prosecution of 25 years for someone who was actually arrested stealing our cable.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Sipho Nhlapo is with the Johannesburg Roads Agency, is the acting HOD of Mobility and Freight.